Okay, life begins. This is when sperm met the egg, split into two cells into four into 16. This is on day 16. This is what our fetus look like. Okay, day 16, we have our brain, our spinal cord, and then 31 pairs of nerves. Okay, so even before we have our heart, we had our brain, spinal cord, and nerves.
Spine.
The spine.
Yeah.
Okay, so this together, brain, spinal cord, and the 31 pairs of nerves, we call it the nervous system.
Nervous.
Why is it so important? This is Grey's Anatomy. Before it was a TV show, it was the Bible of physiology. The purpose of the brain and nerve system is to control and coordinate. Okay, the keywords are control and coordinate. The functions of all tissues, all organs, and all systems in the body. Okay, so if our body is a company, the nervous system is the CEO. If our body is a nation, the nervous system is President Obama. This is our brain, this is our spinal cord. You want to take a wild guess what the consistency of a brain, spinal cord, or the brain, what the brain feels like?
Sponge.
Tofu.
Spongy, tofu. It's like, I think it's like a firm tofu. Extra soft. I think it's like a refrigerated peanut butter. It has some resistance.
Oh.
So it's not that fragile, but it's pretty fragile. And surrounded by cerebral spinal fluid, so it's floating in our body. Specifically floating in our skull. So it's protected by the skull and our spine. So just like our President Obama, he has an armored car. His car is bulletproof, bomb-proof, and gas-proof, okay, to protect him. Anything happens to that car, do you think they will let him ride in it?
No.
But look at the president of our body, our nervous system. It's protected by our spine. How many times that we feel pain in our neck, we feel pain in our low back, and then we just say, pop a pill, pop an ibuprofen, and then you go on with your day. We never take a second thought about what's happening to our spinal cord, what's happening to our brain, because the protector is not functioning well. You know? Just like President Obama's car, if his tires are not aligned, if there's any misalignment in his car, do you think they will let him ride in it? But we let our spine go misaligned all the time. Okay, we don't do anything about it. So from the spinal cord, we have 31 pairs of nerves. Where do the nerves go?
To our organs.
So even before we had our heart, we had the nerves first, the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. If we don't have our nervous system, we cannot get our heart developed. If we don't have our nervous system, we cannot get our liver, our eyes, our thyroid, anything, all those. We will not get them developed. So it's a coordinator and the controller of everything in our body. So if a patient comes in and tells me that he or she has low back pain, which is this area, okay? So he's just worried about the pain he has, the pain in his low back, the pain in his legs, but I'm thinking about his reproductive organs. That's what I'm thinking, because the same nerve that goes to his leg and low back goes to his reproductive organs. Someone comes in and tells me that she has a neck pain. Her shoulder is tight. Okay, she's only thinking about the pain and discomfort. I'm thinking about her heart, I'm thinking about her liver, I'm thinking about everything below. Because anything happens here, all the rest gets affected. Okay. That's why proper nerve supply is so important. It's one of the 5th facet of health. If you don't have a proper nerve supply, you can have the best nutrition in the world, you can exercise as much as you want, but if there's irritation to the nerve, the organs that control by it is not going to function too well. You will not have 100% functioning of the organs if the controller is not functioning well.
So that's why you said, sometimes stuff like this, people who can't have children could be
Possibly.
due to-
Not all of them are like that, because it's possible that they have a physical problem, but it could cause by a nerve problem. And so if they get their spine checked and properly adjusted, and the irritation of the nerves gets removed, and the body, the brain is back in control 100%, then they get pregnant. It happens. Okay, next. So this is the illustration of what happens when our nerve gets pinched. So if there's any misalignment in your spine, the disc between the vertebra gets flattened. We call this a disc herniation. When the disc herniation happens, the nerve that comes out of it right next to it could get pinched. And if this nerve is not as healthy, and whichever organs that it innervates also gets affected. We do have protection, meaning that multiple nerves innervate one organs. But let's say if this happens in a row, that all 3 nerves gets pinched, then we definitely will have some health issues. Okay? So this is what we want to prevent. So what does chiropractic do? How does chiropractic help your nerve supply? Chiropractic is based on the idea that our body is able to heal itself, given that our brainstem is in full control of our body, given that our nervous system is functioning properly without any irritation. So what does chiropractic adjustment entail? So first of all, you come in, first we detect if there's any irritation. Let me go back a little bit. So when we have a pinched nerve, that is the major cause of disease. Before we have disease, we have dis-ease, and we call that subluxation. That's a chiropractic term. Now, so our job as a chiropractor is to detect any nervous system irritation. Once we detect it, then we remove it, we free the nerves. Once the nerves are freed, then your nervous system is in control 100%, and then your body will start to heal itself naturally. So instead of me trying to go in to try to get you to pregnant, I just free the nerves, and then your body takes over and then does what it needs to do. Instead of me trying to take away the pain in your head, I just free the nerves, and then your body heals itself, and then the headache goes away.
When you're saying chiropractic adjustments, you're talking about upper cervical adjustments, or is it all chiropractic adjustments?
The goal of all chiropractic adjustments is to remove subluxations. Now, I specialize in something called upper cervical chiropractic. So next, phases of care. Okay, when a patient comes in, usually we get patient coming because they are in a lot of pain. So our first goal is to remove the pain. And once we remove the pain, then we make sure that your spine is able to get corrected and then be able to get strengthened. And once we reach that goal, the next is that you maintain your health. Now you're out of pain. Your spine, your whatever misalignment that you have got corrected. Now we want to keep you maintain health at a certain level so that you don't ever go back to your painful condition again. And then we prevent any future disease.
And can you elaborate more on what this upper cervical care is, please?
Upper cervical care, of course. Okay. What is upper cervical? Cervical is the neck bone. We call it cervical. So this is our spine. Okay, our spine, a normal spine, we should have 3 curves. We have a cervical curve, and then the other way around, the opposite direction is a thoracic curve. And then again, we have a lumbar curve. So 3 curves. Okay. That gives us a function of a spring-like effect. When you jump, run, when children, they jump from 1 flight of stairs and down or half a flight of stairs and down. Because if they have this curve, whatever pressure enters their body gets dispersed. Problems happens when people lose this curve. And people could lose this curve by many different ways. One of the most common ways is car accidents, or any injury to the neck or the head. Can be as early as when the child is born, or when the children is playing on the playground, or just again, like car accidents or something. I have a patient once that someone accidentally threw a huge bag of laundry from 2nd floor and hit her head from behind. That kind of force is enough to whack your spine out. Okay. So what happens? So our spine, if you look at it carefully, that there's interlocking between each vertebra. That prevents the rotation of the vertebra and snap. Okay, so there are bony locks all the way along, from the 2nd bone all the way down. Okay, except the first 2 bones. Okay, so this is the first bone in our neck, and then this is the 2nd bone in our neck. They are very unique designed and unique in shape and unique in function. So they have a special name for them. The first bone we call it atlas, the second bone we call it axis, because atlas held up the globe, so the first bone held up our head, so the first bone is called atlas. Okay. Upper cervical refers to these first two bones, upper cervical. Okay. Now, why are they so important? Again, like I said, there are bony locks from the second bone all the way down. These two bones has no bony locks. They can rotate all the way 360 degree. What keeps them from rotating 360 degree is ligaments. They are only held together purely by muscle and ligaments. Because of this special design, it gives them the most free ranges of motions. And the downside is the least stability. Okay. So any force enter your body, whether you fell on your hip, okay, or you got hit, someone running to you from your side, or you get hit by a fender bender, any force enter your body, it's going to travel because this is a chain-like effect. It will travel and then it will break the weakest link. So any force enter your body is going to travel because this is like a chain-like effect. Okay, it's going to travel and then it's going to break the weakest link, which is this. Again, like I said earlier, you have the greatest mobility, you have the least stability. So in your spine, the first two bones are the greatest, it's the weakest link. So it's going to happen, it's going to break it. Break it in the sense that it's going to misalign it and then it's going to fixate it. It's like running, you hit something really hard into the hinges of a door. Okay, it's going to knock the door out. It's going to misalign it. It's kind of like that. So what happens is a lot of time when people come in, the first thing we do is that we determine if there's any irritation to their nervous system or not. If there is irritation, 90% of the times it's caused by misalignment in the first two bones. So how do we find out? We take x-ray. We take very precise x-ray. We take an x-ray from the side, from the front, 45 degree from the chin up. That allows us to see if there's any rotation to the first bone or not. And then we also take with x-ray, we then tilting the head to check the biomechanics. That allows us to see exactly from 3-dimension point of view what's happening to the first two bones. So specifically, we address the cause, because 90% of the time, this is the cause for any misalignment in the spine. And in 90% of the time, this is also the cause of any irritation to the brainstem. Yeah, a lot of us, why do we get shoulder pain? Okay, I used to get shoulder pain all the time. I would have to go get massage once a week. And the relief only lasts for a couple of days. Okay, why do we get shoulder pain? The reason is because most of the time, and again, this is assuming that you do have a misalignment. I don't know with your case until I've examined you, but in most of the in my patients, most of the time is, if it's caused by the misalignment in the first two neck, this is what happens. Okay, this is the weight of our head. It's the weight of a bowling ball. It's about between 12 to 16 pounds, depends on the individual. Okay. So if you have a proper cervical curve, of course we didn't all of a sudden put this 16 pound on your neck. You grew up with this slowly, and you build the muscle over the years. So assuming if you have a proper curve, you can hold up this globe no problem. Okay, you are designed for it. If you have the 3 curves that you need, your cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. If you have those 3 curves, you can jump, you can run with the 16 pound on your head, no problem. On your neck, no problem. But when you have a misalignment in the first 2 bones, okay, your spine is not going to stay perfect with only the first 2 bones misaligned. The rest of your spine will change and adapt. In the attempt to adapt, slowly you will lose your cervical curve. And this could also happen without trauma. It could happen just from sitting in front of a computer 10 hours, 12 hours, day long, and then slowly your head just aggravates forward. So it could be a micro trauma, which is from computer usage. Now, for every inch forwards, your head is no longer at 16 pounds. It increases to 22 pounds, 18 pounds. Another inch forward, 24 pounds. With all this weight on your shoulder, and we wonder why our shoulder hurts. Okay, so how do we correct this? Okay, as upper cervical doctor, once I determine that there's irritation to your nervous system, I find that there's misalignment in your first 2 bones, I correct the alignment, and slowly again, because the first 2 bones are corrected, they are aligned again, the rest of your spine will come back. The curve will slowly and return. Okay. And with the head back to the proper position, the muscle will relax and your shoulder pain will go away. And then also another reason, why do we have low back pain? So if you do not, and why do we get herniation? Let's talk about herniation. Why do we get lumbar herniation? So this is our spine. So assuming you lost your cervical curve, your head is forward 1-2 inches, where do you think the stress is? Looking at this. This is where your stress is, your low neck, the lower part of your neck. And the nerves that comes out of your low neck goes to your shoulder. Again, when you lose that curve, the opening where the nerves comes out gets smaller, irritates the nerves. Okay, bone spur will grow. The bone spur will grow to support the forward center of gravity. When the center of gravity gets shifted, the bone will grow to support the shifted weight, and that results in bone spur. Along with that, and the disc, too much pressure on the disc, etc. So nerve here, it gets irritated. Your shoulder muscle, they go to your shoulder muscle, it gets tightened. The same nerve goes to your arm gets tingling, numb, and weak. Okay, with that, when you lose the cervical curve, you'll also lose your thoracic curve, and at the same time, you'll also lose your lumbar curve. The whole body gets shifted forward like that. This is why when we get old, we start to have this kind of position. Okay, when you're in this position, all the stress are at your lumbar. Okay, again, shifted weight, bone will grow to support the shifted weight, and that results in bone spur. Disc gets flattened, herniated, and when the disc gets herniated, it puts pressure on the nerve. We call that pinched nerve. This same nerve goes to your hip, goes to your low back, goes to your leg, goes to your internal organs, goes to your reproductive organs. So this is why we get low back pain. This is why we get shoulder pain. This is why we get numbness and tingling in our leg, in our arms. Why we get sciatica. Why we get tight shoulder. So what is chiropractic? In essence, chiropractic is the belief that our body has the ability to heal itself, given that your nervous system is functioning 100%. Okay. So how does this apply to you? So if you have a condition that you struggle for a long time, a chronic condition, it could be a headache, it could be a shoulder ache, it could be anything, asthma, allergy, anything that you struggle for a long time, and you decided that you do not want to take drugs, you do not want surgery, you want natural alternative, then I would recommend that you try chiropractic, and specifically upper cervical chiropractic. So why upper cervical? Because me, as myself, I struggle with a chronic condition for a long time. It put me out of work, it put me out of school, I wasn't functioning. I tried, I didn't want to take medications, and I tried Chinese medication and I got tired of taking herbs. I want to try something natural, so I tried chiropractic. I tried many different techniques. At the end, it was Nietzsche's upper cervical that helped me. So that's what I do today. Because I want to go out there and help people who, like I was, that people struggle and they want their life back. And I got my life back after Nietzsche's chiropractic care.
Thank you.